When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
Did
Shanquella's so-called friends really lure her to Cabo with the intention of hurting her and planning her death? Even though it's been weeks since Shanquella Robinson passed away, the internet is still furious and demanding real answers. And just when everyone thought this case couldn't get any darker, brand new 2025 years details dropped from authorities that point to her death being no accident at all.
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
But a setup plotted by the very people she trusted the most. But the question is, why did they hate Shanquella that much? What would push them to do something so cruel? And what is the FBI officially saying now about this tragedy? Shanquella's shocking death has thrown her entire community into chaos, and every new update just makes the pain worse. For those who don't know the backstory, here's a quick breakdown before we dive into the newest revelations. Shanquella went on a Cabo, Mexico trip with 6 of her so-called friends for a birthday celebration. They left from North Carolina, and she was in perfect health when she boarded that plane. The group included Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, DJ Jackson, her supposed best friend Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. But here's where it gets messy. Nazir has come forward claiming he arrived in Cabo a whole day later than everyone else, and swears he wasn't there when the violent events went down. According to Shanquella's mother, Khalil was the first to call her after they landed in Cabo, telling her that Shanquella had drunk too much and supposedly suffered alcohol poisoning.
When was the last time you heard from him?
I haven't heard from him since the autopsy came back. And that's been about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when the autopsy first came back. And I haven't heard from him since.
Later, Khalil called back saying medical staff were inside the villa trying to resuscitate her, and then delivered the devastating news that their attempts had failed. And now, in 2025, investigators revealed that fresh surveillance footage has surfaced from the villa's security cameras. Footage that allegedly shows a heated confrontation before Shanquella's collapse. This shocking twist has reignited national outrage, with calls growing louder than ever for arrests and justice in what's being called one of the most disturbing betrayal cases in years. Khalil and the rest of the group suddenly decided to cut their holiday short and rush back home to North Carolina. But here's the part that shocked everyone. They left Shanquella's body behind in Mexico, yet somehow made sure to pack up her luggage and personally deliver it to her parents' house. Khalil even had the nerve to look her mother in the eye and keep pushing the same story, that Shanquella died from alcohol poisoning. Now let's be real, this wasn't just some random friend. Khalil was basically family at this point. He used to hang around Shanquella's home all the time, eat with them, laugh with them, and he had their trust. Even after he got back from Cabo, he was still visiting the family, pretending to care, all while hiding the truth.
Police report from the day she died says guests at the resort called for medical help, claiming she had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor said she was, quote, stable but dehydrated, adding that the guests refused to bring her to a hospital. The police report said she went into cardiac arrest and was declared dead at 6 p.m.
But everything changed when the autopsy dropped, because that report blew Khalil's story and the whole crew's cover wide open. Before we even get into what the autopsy exposed, let's look at a so-called police report. That report claimed her friends told medical staff that she drank a huge amount of alcohol, was badly dehydrated, and that's why she collapsed. But here's the twisted part. The same report says her friends flat out refused medical advice to take her to the hospital. How was that not a giant red flag to the medics on site? From what investigators now believe, her so-called friends likely lied to the medics about alcohol poisoning, and the medics didn't push further. So, before the autopsy results came out, the Mexican authorities treated the whole thing like an accident and didn't even launch a real investigation. But when the autopsy results hit, everything changed, because it contradicted nearly every detail in that police report, including her official time of death. The police claimed she died around 6 p.m., but the autopsy put her death at 3 p.m. sharp.
What Go said, they crew.
A difference of 3 hours isn't some small mistake. It screams that the original police report might not just be wrong. It might be covering something up. The autopsy told a story that completely destroyed the lies Shanquella's so-called friends tried to spread. It listed her cause of death as a severe spinal cord injury and atlantoaxial subluxation. That's when the first two vertebrae in the neck move in an unstable, unnatural way. In plain words, it showed she had been brutally attacked. Even more telling, the autopsy made no mention of alcohol in her system whatsoever. And that was the nail in the coffin for the alcohol poisoning story. If she had truly drunk enough to die from alcohol poisoning, it would have been right there in the toxicology report. But it wasn't. That alone exposed her friends as liars. But then came the bombshell that made people furious. A leaked video surfaced online showing Dejan Jackson viciously attacking Shanquella. In the clip, D is seen striking her over and over while Shanquella doesn't even fight back. The most chilling part? Her so-called friends just stood around watching like it was entertainment. Nobody stepped in, nobody yelled for D to stop, and in the background, Khalil's voice can even be heard saying, "Quella, can you at least fight back?" That one line alone broke the internet because it showed he knew she was being attacked and still did nothing to help. Reports also revealed that Winter Donovan got physical too, slamming Shanquella into a wall, which could easily explain the devastating injuries found in the autopsy. It's no wonder public outrage exploded after seeing the footage. People demanded answers, and Shanquella's parents refused to let the case die quietly. Their fight forced Mexican authorities to reopen the investigation, and that's when the FBI jumped in too. The new ruling flipped the entire case upside down. Mexican officials overturned their original decision of accidental death and instead declared it a femicide. For those who don't know, femicide is the killing of a woman because of her gender. Under Mexican law, that charge can carry up to 60 years in prison. Authorities made it clear. They believed Shanquella's death wasn't random, but tied to her being a woman, and the ruling added serious weight to claims that this was a planned act of violence. What made the situation even more disturbing were the additional videos that leaked from the trip. In one clip, the group is seen whispering and plotting without Shanquella anywhere near them. The way they were moving around and trying to keep her from hearing their conversation sent chills through viewers. People immediately pointed out how shady it was, suggesting they were setting her up behind her back. And then there's the fact that they all packed up and fled Mexico almost instantly after her death. They left her body in a foreign country, but dragged her luggage back to North Carolina like it was nothing. That decision alone raised red flags everywhere. Why the rush to leave so quickly? Why abandon her body but protect her belongings? The timing, the secrecy, the lies. It all made people believe this wasn't just a tragedy. Many are now convinced it was a calculated setup, possibly planned before they even boarded the flight from North Carolina. People across the internet have been blasting the entire friend group, saying straight up that this was a cold-blooded setup. Comments online are brutal, with people demanding, all of these people involved in Shanquella Robinson's murder need to be arrested and locked up for life. Others warn, if that doesn't happen, it's not going to be good. The public has made it clear they believe this was a planned attack, not a tragic accident. And the more people sit with the details of Shanquella's assault, the angrier they get. The whispers are turning into shouts. This wasn't just a fight gone wrong, it was intentional. Folks are convinced the trip to Mexico was nothing more than a trap to take her out. They lured her in, attacked her when she was most vulnerable, and even recorded it to humiliate her.
The U.S. authorities and potentially U.S. court are not convinced that the Mexicans have a very strong case, that it's very unlikely that she would be extradited.
Premeditated, calculated, and now new developments suggest the authorities themselves are confirming exactly that. In fact, Mexican prosecutors have dropped a bombshell. They've issued an arrest warrant for one of her so-called friends, identified as the main aggressor. Their official statement left no room for doubt. They said, this case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There's an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of hers, who is the direct aggressor. Actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. We are carrying out all the pertinent procedures, such as the Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the United States of America. It's about two Americans, the victim and the culprit. While officials didn't name the suspect outright, everyone online immediately pointed to Dejan Jackson, the same friend caught on video viciously beating Shanquella while the others just stood there. The viral footage left little doubt in the public's mind about who the aggressor really was. At first, this news sparked a wave of relief. Finally, a step toward justice. But the celebration was cut short when legal experts weighed in, warning that the extradition process may not even happen. Right now, they say the chances of the suspect being sent back to Mexico to face trial are basically a coin flip, 50-50. And that's left people outraged all over again. How can the world watch a video of a young woman getting brutalized, see an official autopsy prove foul play, hear Mexican prosecutors declare it femicide, and still possibly see no justice served? So, unless Mexican authorities have built a rock-solid case, there's still a very real chance that extradition may never happen. But don't get it twisted, that doesn't mean the entire friend group is off the hook. The FBI is still deep in this case, and that means serious charges could be waiting for them right here in the US. The FBI has already confirmed it's on the job. Their Charlotte field office released a statement saying, the FBI's Charlotte field office has opened an investigation into the death of Charlotte resident Shanquella Robinson in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, on or about October 29, 2022. Due to the ongoing investigation, we have no further comments. That official word from the FBI alone tells you, this case is far from over. The fight for justice is still alive, and with new leaks, new evidence, and the world watching every move, this story is only getting hotter by the day. One way or another, the truth is coming out, and the people responsible won't be able to hide forever. Make sure you like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest shocking updates on this case. And check out the next video playing on your screen right now.